Hello and thank you for joining us on Newsweek, where we highlight some of the biggest stories that made the headlines recently. I am Jacinta Agochukwu. This week, the ruling All Progressive Congress APC nominates candidates for principal officers of the 10th National Assembly ahead of the June inauguration. Contenders kicked and rejected the selections. Also this week, presidential election petition tribunal begins pre-hearing and tight security as parties head to court to challenge the victory of President-elect Bola Tinubu. Later on the show, Supreme Court affirms Adamu Adeleke as governor of Osun State. And in a surprise development, Boyega Oyetola considered and congratulated Adeleke. All the details in a moment. Stay with us. Well, we begin with politics, where earlier in the week, the ruling All Progressive Congress APC nominated candidates for principal officers of the 10th National Assembly ahead of the June inauguration. The party, in a statement signed by its publicity secretary, Felix Moka, explained that the APC has reserved to zone the Senate presidency to the South by picking former Akwa Ibom State Governor Senator Goswe Akpabio and Tajuddin Abbas from the Northwest as the Speaker of the House of Representatives. The party also selected Senator Baru Jibrin from the Northwest as the Deputy Senate President, while Benjamin Kalu from the Southeast was nominated as Deputy Speaker. This caused uproar in the party as aggrieved aspirants for the positions rejected the party's position and demanded fresh zoning of the principal officers. In response to this development, the national chairman of the party, Senator Abdullahi Adamu, admitted that aspirants for various offices in the 10th National Assembly were not consulted before the decision on the zoning was reached. He noted that the party would go back to the drawing board and review the zoning arrangement where necessary. Well, I have with me in the studio to discuss this is Olushola Jegede and a lawyer, and Niyi Saliu, a political analyst who is joining me via Zoom. Good evening, Mr. Niyi.
Hello, I can hear you.
All right, welcome to the show, gentlemen. Welcome, Mr. Jegede. Thank you for having me. All right, let me begin with you, Mr. Niyi. The national chairman of the APC, Senator Abdullahi Adamu, has said the party did not consult adequately before zoning the leadership seats. What is your take on this?
Well, the party is an institution that's run by men. So they will make their mistakes, and nobody can consult enough. There are too many stakeholders, around decisions when you want to make one. So that there was consultation. Yes, it may not be enough, but you see, it's not entirely a fair game. Politics is a stakeholder game. There are contributions to the build-up of the emergence of the president-elect, the vice-president-elect, and everyone that has won election in APC. There are people who have worked, who have shown themselves strong, and don't forget that the critical stakeholders in APC also have information about those who can work with the president-elect or the administration to move Nigeria forward. So it's critical. They have information at their disposal that even those who are seeking the leadership of the National Assembly don't know how much information that the party has. So it's not just in Nigeria, anywhere in the world, the party intervenes in this, the selection or the election of, National Assembly principal officers. In fact, in some climes, it won't even be a matter of election now. Once the party has won election, it would have been decided who their leader is. So at any point in time that the principal position becomes available at the House, it won't be in any question who will vie for that position. So I guess it's part of the growth that our democracy is, currently undergoing. That's why we are still at this age, trying to determine who will become the Senate president. It's something that should have been known by the party, and there wouldn't be any controversy. So of course, the process of consultation is ongoing, And you will see that even the man that has been endorsed by the party has been going around to meet people, different stakeholders, even those who are aggrieved, to try and bring everybody on board. You are not going to have at 100% levels the kind of support that the party chairman is envisaging. It's not going to happen. There will be people who will still say they are not carried along, whether genuinely or they're just being mischievous. But whatever it is, we hope that some people will come around in the party. We expect this party to, to begin and start strong. So, barring any issues, the president-elect seemed to me like someone who is ready to start on day one. So, I want to appeal to everyone who is aggrieved or who is complaining about one thing or the other to rally around the choice of the party and let's move forward.
All right, Mr. Niyi, what do you say to Idris Rashid, the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, declaring for lower chambers speakership position, stating that he has rejected the APC's zoning formula, as well others have also rejected the party's move. How do you think this will affect the party?
Well, there will always be people who will be aggrieved. Positions have always been contested for, particularly at the level of House of Representatives. There are too many people there, more than what you have at the Senate. Most senators are veteran politicians who have garnered experience over the years. So it's easy, and they're about 90 or something. So it's easy to rally them around, more than over 300 House of Reps members. So, of course, that kind of number, you're not going to get a consensus, easily. So it's expected, and I know that even the party understands this. So what we expect is not that people will not contest the position. What we expect is that the party's candidates will emerge. That's simple. So whether we are able to totally, reach a compromise now, resolve all the issues now or after the election, it won't matter. What will matter is that at the end of everything, the party is able to come together and govern.
So you're saying, in other words, that it's too early to start thinking that some zone is being marginalized?
You see, it's too early. The process is ongoing. What we are witnessing currently is just the election of the principal officer of the National Assembly. We are still going to have secretaries to the federal government, key functionaries of the federal government in the executive arm. So I know that the president is quite experienced. He understands, the agitations of Nigerians and the zones.
All right.
So he knows that he needs to balance things. So whoever is feeling aggrieved now or feels that he's been marginalized, or any zone that has considered themselves marginalized now, by the time this process completes, they will see that they are dealing with a man who wants unity in Nigeria,
who is a Democrat,
and who is able to assuage all zones and bring them around the table.
Mr. Niyi, I'll get back to you. Let me come to you now, Mr. Jegede. I'm sure you see a whole lot of things playing out here, but let's even talk about this next assembly, what you are expecting, what, if you're to set an agenda for this next assembly, what will you say should be the priority that to hit on immediately, knowing that we have so many issues on the table?
Yes, the priority of the legislators is to pass laws at all time, and we believe that being a new government, the president-elect coming into the power by May 29, he will also have a lot of what we call executive bills. We have some on how he can reform the economy, the security, and how many issues. So we are expecting the new National Assembly to cooperate with the president, so we don't have just a situation whereby there is a deadlock on many issues on what we have experienced in Parliament in the past. But based on the nomination that they have passed, they are also afraid that maybe because APC actually have a not so much robust majority, we could say a tiny majority, but they are afraid that maybe perhaps what happened 8 years ago, where Senator Bukola Saraki won the the seat of the Senate presidency against the decision of the party, maybe it could have repeated itself. And that might create a situation, chaotic
that's a major
situation.
concern.
Yeah, between the presidency and the Senate. Senate, they have, both Senate and House of Rep, they are key sector of the government. They make laws, actually. The president always wants to be at the par with the National Assembly to move the country forward. But based on what we've been seeing so far, we believe that the consultation is ongoing. Like the last speaker said, it has not stopped, but the fear is still there that if the election could take place, because the law never stipulated that APC must be the Senate president. Actually, or a particular person that is endorsed by a party is whoever that will win the election. So we don't know, that's where the fear is coming from. Yeah. There will be some agitation, but there will not always be agreed on all issues. But we still believe, based on the endorsement of the president-elect, and based on the kind of support we have seen, that Senator Akpabio have an upper hand, and the president-elect believes he has so much hope in him that he's going to work with him very well to move the country forward. And
let's you allow them to, go back like the national chairman said. Let them go back, because everybody is just saying, okay, this is not what they want. So let's allow the APC do their thing. So that will be it for this topic. But right now, let's go for a short break, and Newsweek continues in a moment. Stay with us. You're welcome back, and if you're just joining us, it's Newsweek, where we highlight some of the biggest stories that made the headlines recently. Now, over 2 months after the February 25th presidential election, aggrieved parties have converged at the tribunal in Abuja, the nation's capital. The presidential election petition tribunal sitting at the Court of Appeal consists of a 5-member panel of judges headed by Justice Haruna Samani. At the commencement of the pre-hearing, it was observed that there was watertight security as the police operatives cordoned off the road leading to the court. It must be noted that the Action Alliance AA and Action People's Party APP have withdrawn their petitions against President-elect Bola Tinubu. Well, I still have with me here in the studio Olushola Jegede, a lawyer, and as well Niyi Saliu is there with me via Zoom. Niyi, let me come to you. Are you still there?
Yes, I'm here.
All right. What do you make? Let me get your reaction so far on this election tribunal hearing so far.
Well, finally, it has commenced. It's part of the process. The Constitution has guaranteed rights to people who are aggrieved in any elections to pursue, their cause through the courts, through the tribunal, in some cases to the Supreme Court. And that is what I think the parties, particularly the PDP and the Labour Party, that's the right I think they're exercising. That right is guaranteed by the Constitution and the Electoral Act. So my appeal would be that everyone who has been uttering statements that are capable of, causing problem and disaffection among our people should stop and let the courts do their job. The principal actors are where they hope to get justice, and the APC is also there defending itself. So the matter is clearly and squarely off the hands of agitators, or electorates, and whoever. Is in the hands of the judiciary now. So let's wait and allow that process to run.
Of course.
So as far as I'm concerned, that is what it is. People are there to plead their case and hope that they get justice. And the party that has won is also there defending itself to prove and showcase that he has won the election genuinely. And that has not stopped anything. And there's precedence. The president-elect will be sworn in by May 29. That is the law. And that it goes for all the people that have won election in states and the houses of reps and Senate. So for me, let's wait and see what happens.
Yes, of course. Let me also ask you of your opinion about this talk that Atiku's demotion. Atiku is seeking for a live broadcast of the tribunal's proceeding. While some think it's a good idea, others believe it's a distraction. What do you think?
Again, it's not a matter of people's opinion. It's a motion that has been put before the court. So the court, in its wisdom, will decide whether the matter is good for the public or should just be within the court. And when they are decided, of course, the people will know. And those who are interested can also attend some of the court sittings. You have seen that even candidates of the party, some of them have attended one or two sittings of the court. That has happened. So squarely, it's with the court. For me, whether it's shown live or not, it will be reported at the end of the day. There is social media, there are other media outlets that some of these, at least genuine and true position of things at every proceeding will be reported. And people who are interested, of course, can take advantage of those platforms. But if the court decides that, well, they want to show it live, for me, it's still okay. Justice will take its course. The proceedings will run through. It doesn't stop anything. So, except those who are really, who have the time to sit in from morning till evening or to stay glued to their TV, I think that it's just good or want to wait, get the summary of what has happened, and that way you can follow it genuinely.
All right,
People who are aggrieved will want to, put everything on the table, agitate, say they should broadcast it live. Some of them can even say they should take it to the United Nations, but it doesn't change anything.
All right, Niyi, I'll get back to you. Mr. Jegede, what do you think about this idea of broadcasting this tribunal proceedings? Do you buy the idea?
Yes, the application made by the Atiku's lawyer and Peter Obi lawyer is sub judice on its own. It's been decided upon in the court. The court is about to rule on it. But without looking at the application, but just talking generally on the proceedings of the court, why sometimes, even when you look at the United States of America, the U.S. Supreme Court, they don't sit on a live broadcast. There are reasons, because they don't want people to start making out walls looking at the people performance in the court to make some judgment. And they are trying to afraid of those kind of narratives people will create. People don't really understand how the judicial process works. So the tribunal will decide whether it wants to take a live broadcast or not. But it's a very delicate thing for the judges. And we have seen in a lot of courts all over the world where the court will not, even in the advanced country, we are talking about country like the United States, where the court don't want press in the court. At times they just do their own, let's say, audio recording, but they don't want video. They don't want a situation whereby people will be assuming that a particular judge or someone, maybe the way they have responded to lawyers. But we lawyers, we're used to the way we respond, the court responds to us, and we respond to the court. If a judge shouts a lawyer down, a particular candidate, they could say, perhaps maybe this judge it's about our candidate. And at times, it's not about the applicant or the litigant. At times, it's about the lawyers. So those are kind of perceptions that the court will be subjected to if the broadcast is made live. But it's for them to decide. It's not an application can decide for them. But all over the world, it has been a very delicate issue in a matter of public interest to have the judges to be on a live televisions. It will be ideal, like they did 4 years ago, for the judgment and what we call the final address of the court. Maybe that area can be broadcasted live, but to be conducting the entire trial through the broadcast I don't want to delve to that application, but I know that that's what may happen. And you have to protect the judges and all those situations. You remember when the former President Trump is charged in America, there was no, the U.S. couldn't allow live broadcast in that court because the judges was complaining about the security of the judges, the family of the judges, because people begin to say a lot of stuff. So that's why it's a very delicate situation.
Yeah, as a lawyer, you know better. So at the end of the day, this might pose some distraction, as it's been a concern to some people. Now let's move to our final story for tonight. The Supreme Court earlier in the week affirmed Adamu Adeleke of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, as the validly elected governor of Osun State. The judgment of the Apex Court in its lead judgment, which was delivered by Justice Emmanuel Agim, dismissed an appeal that was lodged against Adeleke's election victory by the former governor of the state, Boyega Oyetola, who was the gubernatorial candidate of the All Progressive Congress APC. He held that though Oyetola alleged that Adeleke won through overvoting that occurred in 774 polling units in the state, he however failed to produce either bimodal voter accreditation system (BVAS) machine that was used in any of the polling units to prove his allegation. Niyi, let me come to you now. How would you describe the Supreme Court's judgment on Osun State governorship election? What do you think?
Okay, first, I like to congratulate Governor Adeleke on a hard-earned victory. I also like the fact that the matter, was allowed to run its course. I also commend Governor Oyetola for taking advantage of constitutional provision and pleading his case up to the Supreme Court. You see, look, every matter that happens in the public domain is a precedent, and it also makes our justice system more robust. I hope now Nigerian Democrats will look at this, understand it, so that by the time other cases are determined and they did not go as expected by some people, they won't come back to cry foul. I hope now that Governor Adeleke can settle down and do his job as he has been advised by the president-elect. Yes, Osun case is a test case for democracy, a test case for the judiciary. And he also brought to the fore the issue of usage of BVAS and technology in our electoral process. So, and I hope that INEC itself will learn some lessons, deriving from some of these judgments as given in the case of Osun, and as will be given in other cases.
All right, Niyi, we are almost out of time. I just want you to briefly tell me, do you think Oyetola will return after 4 years? What do you think? Briefly, please, we are out of time.
Governor Oyetola is a citizen. He has served one term. By the Constitution, he will no longer be eligible if he has served 2 terms. So it's his choice, his decision. He can decide to come back in 4 years. He enjoys that right under the Constitution.
Of course.
So he is still eligible to stand for election as governor of the state if he so decides in another 4 years. It's within his rights.
All right, Niyi, I'll get to you. Let me just find from you, Jegede. Do you think Oyetola is going to come back after 4 years? And what is this lesson? Just briefly, what is this lesson that we to take out from this judgment on Osun State?
Like Niyi just said, he's eligible to contest again after the 4 years. The lesson we've all learned is that personally, I think the process is taking longer every time. Why is every gubernatorial election in Nigeria must start from the tribunal to the Supreme Court? We must advance. We must move forward. For too many times, we waste judicial manpower in Nigeria. After the tribunal, why can't that matter leapfrog to the Supreme Court? Why must every election must be contested? A lot of judicial manpower is spent on political cases only. Nevertheless, we congratulate the Governor Adeleke, and we congratulate Governor Oyetola too. At least he has conducted himself decently, and therefore understood that this is what it comes down to in democracy. And we believe that people of Osun State can move forward. But then our electoral laws needs to be revisited. Before this appeal used to stop at the Court of Appeal. They move it to the Supreme Court now. So the political cases consume so much judicial manpower. And the Nigeria is not only for the politicians only. There are ordinary people there. They also want those judges. So we believe that with time goes on, maybe perhaps what the president will look into and see how they can modify our law again. To me, I don't think it's a good law, but nevertheless, congratulations to
All right.
Leke.
All right, thank you very much. I've been speaking to Olushola Jegede, a lawyer. He's been in the studio with me, and Niyi Saliu, a political analyst. He joined me via Zoom. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming on the show.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, as well. Thank you as well for being a part of the show. But remember, you can follow the conversation on our social media platforms at TVC News NG or on our website at tvcnews.tv. I am Jacinta Agochukwu. Until next week, it's goodbye.